welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Lucas
Uno
Devotion.
Reverse.
You're actually one of the best podcast hosts I've ever encountered.
Oh my God, thank you.
I've been on a few, but and no disrespect to any others, but you did a really good job.
Thank you.
You're a very good host.
I just like asking questions, to be honest. You're going to have to stop me during this from just flipping it and just asking you things. I'm just constantly trying to soak up stuff.
Okay. Yeah. What, are you still doing it? Still doing the podcast?
Yeah, I am. I'm chipping away. Obviously, this new project's taken up an incredible amount of time, so it's hard to deal with scheduling and, organizing people on the back end. But I have my show on George as well.
Okay.
I host the Sunday night show on George, so I do that every week. So we have, I kind of have stacks of projects. When it comes to priorities, it's the course first, and then I have this radio show, and then when I have some spare time, I do the podcast. It's chaotic.
Yeah. What's the show on George? What does that look like?
It's Grid City Grooves, so it's 9 p.m. on George every Sunday, and I just talk to a different producer or DJ or artist from Christchurch every week, and just give them a chance to kind of be on nationwide net radio, because they don't, you don't really get that chance when you're a small artist, because you have to go through the pitching process and, can you pass my music to this person, to this person, to this person? So
Gotcha.
It's more of a direct way to kind of take some of those smaller artists and put them on a bigger scale.
Nice.
And I just kind of act as a vessel for that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a podcast, but it's live. It's on radio. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. With some musical interludes.
Yeah, cool. Is it available for download later or no? Oh,
it's on Rover, so the big radio streaming podcast app. Surely this is on Rover. Is this on Rover?
I couldn't tell
We'll get you on Rover.
I'd like to think so.
We'll get you on
It
Rover.
should be on Rover.
Yeah.
So good, man. So Fillin Holes. This is cool. This is cool. I've been watching this take shape, and just give us the lowdown. How, why, where, when?
Oh man. Well, as you know, I have a bit of an insane streak. I don't know why I do this to myself, but probably around this time last year, my business partner Reese and I were kind of talking about what our next big project was going to be. We started throwing out ideas. One of them was to make like a drink brand, maybe do something like this, maybe do an alcoholic brand, something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously you need like a lot of funding, probably some like industry experience, stuff like that to get started. And we wanted something that, because we knew that we would have to go all in, like put everything on the line. So we wanted something where kind of the hard work was going to be the variable if we could do it or not, not necessarily if we could get investors or not, if that makes sense. And so the mini golf project kind of came along because we were looking at the red zone, and the council's kind of looking at having a lot more things in there now, I guess finally, right? We've just seen, even this past weekend from recording, Urban Jungle got a temporary license so that they could host their festival inside the red zone, which is like really cool to see.
That is cool.
It's unused space, right?
Yeah.
And so our pitch was going to be, hey, let us set up like a community mini golf, outdoor mini golf, modular, be there for a couple of years, and then when you don't want us anymore, we'll just pack up and leave.
Yeah.
But it became like very apparent quickly that the process was going to take so long. And I really value speed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We went from looking at the land to going, let's make a mini golf course, to, that land's not available anymore, but we kind of like the mini golf idea. So what if we did that, but maybe as a more commercial venture as opposed to a public good one?
Yeah. And so then you just took that idea and then found some alternative land.
Yes, some very rickety, concretey, it's been empty since the earthquakes.
Right.
Half of it's been used as private parking, and then the other half was, so rough that no one has done anything with it.
Yeah, right.
So we got a deal and have been chipping away at it ever since.
How did you find the owner? How did that come about?
Honestly, it was just sitting on Facebook, I think. This is like...
It was listed.
It was listed, and it's been listed for years.
Right.
Because everyone who's come through to look at it has gone, no, that's too much work.
Right, yeah. Not you, though.
Wow, yeah. we could, we could afford, we could budget for it. And, as I said, when we were kind of thinking about the project, we needed something where we could outwork people as opposed to outspending them.
Yeah.
And so the idea of land that was going to be so hard to clear, no one else was willing to do it themselves, and it would be like too expensive to do. But over the course of a few months, we could probably do it, was, super appealing.
Yeah, and I mean, location-wise, it's wicked.
Oh,
Within the 4 Avs, it's central.
Oh, yeah. Right next to the new stadium as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe, Oh, I mean, I don't want to jinx it.
No.
If Wilson's Parking is listening to this podcast, this land doesn't exist. Please do not take it from us at the end of the list, please. But yeah, I'm surprised. It is surprising that no one's done anything with it. It's been sitting there.
I think that all the time. Like when I lived in the city, walking around, the amount of sites that are vacant and just not doing anything within the 4 Avs, mind blowing. Can't understand it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could whinge about this all day. It does seem, the earthquake was almost 15 years ago, I think, at this point.
A lot of years ago.
And it, it just feels like, when I was like a kid, I grew up in Dunedin and then I moved here, kind of primary school age. I was quite like a sick kid. And so I had to come up to Christchurch a lot for treatments and then eventually surgery. And coming up to Christchurch was such an experience because it felt like the city had a spirit to it, kind of like it's almost hard to articulate how it felt, but you'd go to the center of town and the wizard standing outside this beautiful cathedral, and you can jump in these little shops, the old tannery. There was a magic shop in there that I used to adore so much. And we'd come up and we'd go to the pirate, mini golf, and I just have all these, just wonderful memories of coming up to Christchurch and it being like a city full of spirit.
Stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just like nostalgia, rose-tinted glasses, whatever, but I feel like it's quite a common sentiment that the city has lost that. Like, it's almost like we had a spiritual wound with the earthquake.
Yeah.
And while it's been enough time for us to have put in the steps to kind of physically recover, it's almost like our spirit hasn't.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Do you feel like the level of positivity that is around about the city, do you feel like that's almost fake then? Do you feel like that's almost, optimism that's not actually real? I guess that's a hard question and it's different for everyone, of course, but
yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't want to, don't want to dog on that attitude too much because I feel like even if it is fake, you almost have to start with that.
Well, that's true.
To get there, fake it till you make it or whatever.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of cynicism in me when you see like a poster that's like, I love being in Christchurch, the best place to be is Otatahi. And you're like, well, I don't know.
It's like there's something missing though, right? I feel there is something missing and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it is partially based on the amount of vacant sites. Maybe that's a factor. I don't know. Yeah. And maybe it'll just increasingly get better and better. I'm not sure.
I think it is getting better. Part of me is just very surprised it took this long.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And I also feel a bit disappointed that it seems the spirit of the city, at least in my opinion, seems to be mostly driven by private enterprise, entrepreneurs, private businesses doing cool stuff as opposed to, the council or the government or whatever. It felt like all the fun stuff that happened after the earthquake kind of disappeared. With the container mall, stuff like that. There were lots of fun, cool gap filler pop-ups, which are great temporary things while we rebuild, but then the temporary things went away and nothing permanent came back in those positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's cool to be doing something about it, like actively creating a solution to this problem that
I'm sure it is cool. It's very stressful.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
I'm sure it'd be cool to look back on.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the hero's journey though.
Yeah.
When are you going to be open?
April.
April?
Yeah. hoping in time for the school holidays, at least the second week of the school holidays.
I love this.
So we're on a time crunch now. That's why I'm doing the media tour.
Okay.
And then, it's really, we're down to a crunch, but I think we're going to make it work.
How's the social media engagement been? How's that?
I mean, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been better than I expected. I expected it to do well, but yeah, it's been way better than I expected.
Should we crack into these before they get
Yeah,
warm?
I'm excited for this.
Have you had one before?
No, I've never had one before.
Nor have I. Inner Bloom.
Protein coffee, vanilla.
It's an interesting combo. Two things I enjoy. Protein and coffee all in one. So this is first reactions from both of us.
This is really exciting.
I really hope I like this. Let's find out. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It just tastes like a vanilla coffee. It's like
Vanilla coffee with protein.
Yeah.
It's got about, I think, 16 grams of protein, 15.4 grams of protein. So that's cool.
I'll definitely take it over a protein shake.
I understand it's a small-ish startup as of today.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool.
Kind of local or just New Zealand or?
New Zealand somewhere, yeah. Maybe
cool.
Auckland, but here. So that's good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Back to Fillin Holes.
Yes.
When did you start this project?
About 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It took us, I'd say 4 months to clear the land. As I said, it was very kind of intensive up front because it was in such like a rough state, especially doing everything ourselves. We had to get really familiar with how to drive a digger and use a skid steer and crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that I've never done in my life before. And so that initial kind of 4 months was, literally just clearing the land. And then we spent the last couple of months doing the rest. So actually building the holes and flattening things out and putting posts in the ground and painting and all that kind of stuff.
I don't imagine it's cheap doing that kind of stuff, even when you're DIYing it.
No, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not cheap. But we had a fair idea of how much it was going to cost. I think we estimated a little bit under what the total's going to be. I suppose that's true of any construction project. It's probably going to take about twice as long and cost twice as much. But yeah, I just spent a lot of time thinking about, I'm not even sure what to call it. I suppose you could call it like an index of convenience and the associated costs. What people normally pay for something to be quick and convenient versus how much it would cost for us to do it ourselves. And where that kind of sits for us when it comes to the project. For example, something like, getting an electrician in, doing kind of electrical work, that's way above my pay grade and it's potentially really dangerous. So the convenience of hiring someone is just way.
You've got to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like just moving dirt, I suppose we could get someone in there or we could hire a digger by the hour and just do it ourselves and just kind of work it out. And especially with the kind of hours that we're working, we probably would have spent 4, 6, maybe 8 times the amount if we had hired contractors to do this project, especially kind of talking to some of the people in the industry who've built courses before, trying to get some insight. Some of the numbers that they've thrown around have just, made my stomach hurt thinking about it.
Yeah, right. No doubt. And so you're offsetting a bit with sponsorship, is that right?
Yeah.
Whole sponsorship?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Yeah.
It is. Yeah, we are gonna offset some of the initial costs with some whole sponsorship. Trying to be relatively tactful about it. We don't want to just create a newspaper of a course where there's ads on every hole and people come in and feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We don't want to have any kind of competing businesses in or anything like that because we don't, we want to give as much value to the people who decide to advertise with us as they're giving to us by helping out. So I'm trying to be really mindful about that. But
I love that. Have they started being released yet, the sponsors?
No, not yet.
Not quite yet.
And there's still some spots.
Oh, really?
So that's one of my kind of big focuses over the next couple of weeks is filling out kind of the last few spots when it comes to sponsorship. And we have some really cool ideas for what we're going to do with them.
Is pricing variable or is it pretty fixed?
It's relatively fixed. I guess one of the big ideas that we're kind of working with right now is, especially when it comes to local businesses, ones that kind of operate, I suppose within the AVs, we could probably go a little bit out of that, but we're thinking about having one of those navigation poles like they have at the Capes.
Yeah, cool.
With, how many meters or kilometers to the local business. Just little things like that where it's not intrusive.
Yes.
But someone who's at the course, who's walking by, whatever it is like,
cool.
It's it's helpful information.
Yeah.
It's advertising and it fits like right in with a theme. Just trying to be like mindful because I would hate to ruin the experience for people who want to play.
Yes.
And you also kind of like undermine the point of the marketing.
Yeah.
If it's trashy.
I totally agree. I mean, it's no different than podcast sponsorships, right? Like, those podcasts that are just saturated with ads and you're constantly skipping and it just devalues from the whole experience.
Yeah.
So that's like one extreme of the end, but I think like a tastefully inserted ad, like that's great.
Yeah.
Right? And so no different than yourself, right? If you can integrate that and so it's actually like a win-win, I'm all for that.
Hey, and you do great as well. You have nice, succinct, beautiful ads in your podcast.
Yeah, try to. Like it's definitely a work in progress, but getting there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're only a couple of weeks away from opening as of time of recording. So so what do people need to know? Is there how many holes is there?
We're opening with 9.
9, yeah.
And then we're going to use the money we make from opening, running people through the first 9 to expand out to 18.
Yeah.
And potentially even 27. A lot of people have said that they would be really interested in if we set up some kind of bar there. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind when I'm making these kind of promises because we're definitely going to have 18. Whether we can get up to 27 or not is going to depend on if we can do the bar, how much space that's going to take off. So I don't want to make any like crazy promises around that, but we're definitely at least going to double the amount of holes that we have on opening.
Yeah.
And we're going to try price it to reflect that being relatively cheap with the 9 holes and then expanding out the price once we have the 18. And because that's been a big sticking point as well. I've noticed people talking about mini golf courses, especially around Christchurch.
Right.
They think they're relatively overpriced, which is interesting. So.
Yeah. What happened to that one near the Margaret Mayhew?
Yeah, that's closed down.
Did the lease just end or?
I'm not really sure what happened with that. I suppose it was a similar vibe to kind of what we're trying to achieve. They were open for a few years there, for quite a few years.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the bike rental and stuff as well. So I'm not sure what happened with that. Whether they packed up onto better ventures or
maybe, who knows?
People think that it's quite like a volatile business, but at least from what I've researched, especially around Christchurch, most of the courses are pretty well established. There's mini golf courses that have been here for 20 years.
Yeah, right.
To see someone, I'm not sure how long that one was open, but there must have been a reason they packed up.
Yeah, I guess so. What else are you going to have there? You're going to have, it's like snacks?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in our kiosk, we're going to have some nice cold drinks and stuff like that. And there's going to be some food trucks there and hopefully a lot of other kind of exciting things.
Cool.
Especially close to opening because we're anticipating a lot of people. So it's going to be nice to hopefully stagger some people out. And
man, this is so good. So what, 7 days a week? 5?
I'm thinking, 5 or 6, especially after the last 6 months, I could definitely use a day off.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely be open the weekends. Maybe we'll take like Monday, Tuesday off or something like that, low demand days. I think we'll probably open 7 days, see what days are popular, and then adjust the business based on that.
Makes sense, yeah.
Considering we've no history in the industry, that's been most of our strategy is just throw it out there, try to get as much data as possible, and then adjust based on that. We'll probably do that with hours, pricing, what we're stocking in terms of drinks, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just see what people want and give it to them.
Logical, yeah. And you've presumably done like forecasts and budgets and just rough best case, worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm always looking at that worst case, just sweating.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. That's so good.
It's crazy.
I'm pumped up. This is great.
I'm glad you're pumped up about it because it's the past 6 months have just been, it's been a blur. It feels surreal.
No doubt.
I've never worked on something this big.
No. How do you think, if you were to be like not optimistic but not pessimistic, how do you think you'll be sitting this time next year if we do an anniversary edition, which I quite like?
Wow.
If you were to make a prediction or two.
I try not to be too optimistic. You know, I think expectations kind of lead to resentment. But there's still some healthy optimism. I think we'll probably have a bit of a tough winter since it's an outdoor course. I think we're probably going to have to hold on to every dollar we make as much as possible throughout the winter. But I hope, you know, as next summer rolls around, you know, you have that big holiday break. You know, I think that's probably where the profits are made in that kind of period. So this time next year, I hopefully I'll come in my Gucci sunglasses, whip up in my Lambo. I hope we'll be sitting pretty nicely a year from now. 6 months from now, I think I'll probably be sweating a bit just because I think people tend to do less outdoor stuff during winter naturally. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, both locally and tourism, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I hoped we would be open before now. Everything just took a little bit longer than anticipated. I was hoping we were kind of able to catch the tail end of summer, but we've almost missed that period. So, hopefully there's enough hype with the opening to get us a little bit, and then we'll be able to hold out during winter so that we can reap what we sow in summer.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Have you confirmed pricing yet?
We have not confirmed pricing yet.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, so I don't want to make any promises.
No. Just a curiosity.
Yeah. We're going to aim to be cheaper than a lot of the competitors around. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Tourism activities and how, I like the way a lot of them do it with the annual membership being quite enticing for locals.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we'll make money off tourists, but locals will, like we're trying to encourage locals to get involved, right?
Yeah. And that's so interesting. That is something I've been thinking about quite a lot as well, because as you said, we'll have other things at the course, especially over kind of medium long term. And so you want to encourage people to come back who are locals. And so I don't think gouging them on the price of the mini golf maybe is the best move for the business.
It's actually a question. Do you think you'll have an annual membership? Like a season pass?
Not on open.
No.
I don't feel confident having a season pass when we only have 9 holes.
Yeah.
Maybe as the course expands, I'm always open to alternative ideas as well. Partnering up with some other businesses and being included in that.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could offer a lot of value.
Yeah,
you could almost see, I don't know if they'd be open to it, but I could almost see, 3 or 4 of the mini golf places teaming up, offering an annual thing, and then the profits are split 4 ways, and then you can just go to whichever, something like that. I'm not sure. I think I would have a hard time offering an annual membership with just what we're offering on opening. But we are going to expand. So maybe I have a different answer when we talk next year.
Something to ponder.
Yeah, it is something to ponder.
Because as a consumer, like I've done the annual thing a few times with different attractions, especially with my daughter, right?
Yeah.
And it's so good having like a go-to thing that you can just hit up on the regular. And I don't know, it's just something that I'd be curious about.
The Christchurch attractions one is pretty interesting, right? Because that's a gondola and the tram.
Exactly.
Unlimited access for like a year.
Yeah.
That's kind of like an interesting deal because you almost have almost polar opposites in a way, and they're in different parts of the city, and so you always kind of have something to do.
Totally.
It's kind of in they're good repeat trips as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Food for thought.
Food for thought, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about the sponsorship again. I'm pumped up. I'm curious. Can we get some more sponsors?
Yeah, hey, if there's any
listeners?
hardworking business owners out there that want to sponsor a hole at Fillin Holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many are left roughly? Like a couple or?
Yeah, I would say just a couple.
Yeah.
I don't want to have every hole be sponsored. I think that will, I've talked to a lot of business owners about this project, and I think naturally they see the potential and they're like, oh yeah, you want all 9 sponsored for this price, and then you're making this much per year, and you haven't even got like a customer in the door yet. But I just want to be a little careful with it. I don't want to make the customer feel like we're undermining the experience to make some quick cash up front.
Yeah, got it.
I don't want the businesses to feel like they're just another notch in the belt. I want them to actually feel like a valued partner, and hopefully that can extend outside of the sponsorship as well. I would feel kind of bad in myself if someone gave us a bunch of money to be on a hole and then they pick somewhere else, to another mini golf course or whatever, to have their Christmas do at. I feel like that would be an indication that we hadn't served them as valuable business partners.
Yeah, totally.
And so, I just want to be careful with it. Maybe it'll be every second hole. Maybe, some people will be on a sign, some people will be on the course. I think it comes down to the business and the individual needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, I like that approach.
And I've been doing a lot of negotiating and talking to people and stuff like that. I'm a bit of like a timid guy. I'm obviously a little nervous sometimes. I'm probably talking way too fast right now because I'm nervous on this podcast. But I haven't been afraid to kind of show off my balls a little bit in the negotiation and ask for some unreal prices, and then seeing what businesses have come back with or not come back with, just so I have an idea of where we're actually valued in the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on the owner and who's executing the business as well. Sometimes I feel like maybe people are undervaluing what I'm able to achieve through social media, and how much our brand, I think, is worth. They just kind of see it as maybe a placard on a hole and don't think about maybe the medium to long-term consequences of being featured in our social media videos and being the brand that's seen as supporting an underdog story.
Totally.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I, have a weird fascination with it, and, full gratitude to all the sponsors and supporters of this podcast.
Yeah.
It's what has allowed for this level of production.
Yeah.
And I'm very much the same as you in terms of like, I want the value to far exceed the price, and I want it to be a pretty like complete package, not just like an ad, right?
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
an ad. I want to be able to talk about them and be a more integrated approach. So
people can tell when it's just an ad as
totally,
well.
Totally.
Especially in like a format like this. If you were shilling something that you were only half confident in, I think people can just tell in your voice, in your eyes, and how you present it.
Yes.
And then you lose as well because people don't trust you anymore.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. The integrity gets called into question, right?
Yeah, which is scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it makes you sort of think twice, right? Like if someone were to come about that was offering, say, above market or a price that was hard to resist, but you hated the product, that's when you'd have a harder decision on your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. And that's why I'm trying to be mindful about some of the things we take on. And especially why we don't want to have any conflicts as well within the same industry.
Yes.
Because the last thing I want to do is get involved in, I'm sure, business owners can be polarizing figures. And the last thing you want to do is get in the mix of that.
Yeah. Well, it just allows you to add more value, right? If there is a, one business per category. Yeah. And I like what you say about the integration with social media and the exposure and that sort of wider amplification of that sponsor. That's cool. That's real cool.
People are underestimating it.
Yeah.
I think they really are. I think I wouldn't say that we're underestimated. I think we're probably properly estimated now because things are blowing up on social media. It feels like we have the support of a community behind us, and it's like incredibly meaningful. I can't believe it's blown up to the extent that it's had. And so, I'm like incredibly grateful for that, but I also don't want to give the impression that it was random luck. Telling the story of what Reese and I are doing in the way that I have, which has led to the success, I put thought into it. There's a level of planning to an extent. Trying to be as authentic as possible and as grounded as possible so people view us accurately as kind of underdogs who are crazy enough to sink their savings and everything they have into a mini golf course of all things. That gives people something to root for.
Totally.
And I think it really helps as well prevent the feeling of kind of tall poppy syndrome. I know that gets like a lot of chatter in New Zealand, especially in kind of like our community, whatever you want to call it, the entrepreneurship community, the business owner community. I think it probably is a bit of a real thing here, but it's hard for people to judge you as a tall poppy if you're saying, I'm not a tall poppy. I've put everything on the line for this. I think the tall poppy challenges come when you have that little bit of success and you're kind of enjoying it, and then you have to deal with the negative consequences of that. I think at this point in the project, people just want to root for us because, what are you even going to be negative about?
Yeah, I don't know.
If we're wrong, we're going to fail and have to start again in our mid-20s. And, that's what the market will have decided.
Yeah.
There's no kind of ego or we're not, we're the best, we're going to make the best mini golf course. It's just like, hey man, we've put it all on the line. We're going to do the best we can with what we have. We're trying our best. Like, if it works, that's going to be amazing. If it doesn't work, we gave it our best shot.
And we've learned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
All or nothing.
Has there been any particularly difficult moments or any like pivotal moments where you've been like, oh, this is uncomfortable?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's been any like moments, but it's been incredibly stressful. It's been incredibly lonely in a lot of ways. I try not to take what people say on board too much, just overall. I think if you pay attention to all the praise that's coming in, that's when the negativity starts seeping in as well. I do a really good job of handling any kind of criticism or negative comments. I think because I don't let the praise get to me too much. I understand that, like, I'm incredibly grateful, and none of this success and all of the opening hype and everything around it wouldn't be possible without the people supporting us. So I have like a debt of gratitude, and I owe it to them to give them the best experience possible and make sure the price is as low as possible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But seeing comments being like, you guys are the best, I can't let that come on board, because the moment you can feel it in yourself. I don't know if you've experienced this, but if I see a negative comment and then I start getting that kind of flustered, angry feeling inside myself, it's such like a dead giveaway that I've been like looking at too many comments telling me that I'm the shit.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I like that mindset. It's very stoic.
Maybe it is stoic. I don't know. You know, I think it is, but a similar stoic principle potentially that I care more about is, I'm going to butcher it, but what's good for the community is good for the individual. I think that's Marcus Aurelius or something. Working on this project, knowing that it's going to bring life, and in just a small part back to the city, bring a little bit of excitement, and that's going to make other people's lives just maybe a little bit better on one day, in 1 month of 1 year, I'll reap the rewards for that eventually. And so I can't get caught up in, being on TV or having people tell me I'm the shit on social media. I just can't get caught up in that right now.
Yeah. What platforms have been the most, what ones have gained the most amount of reach? Is it TikTok?
Yeah,
or
TikTok and
Instagram?
Instagram. I've been really heavily focusing on vertical video because I'm really, I've been refining that format kind of in my brain quite a lot, paying a lot of attention, and I've had success on it before in various ways, mostly just for fun. But I feel like I have a good understanding of what people like to see, what keeps people engaged, stuff like that. And it's what all the platforms are prioritizing. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense to be doing other types of content too much. Obviously when things first started rolling, I had a lot of people contacting us through DMs saying, hey, what you should do is make a post with the opening date and get ChatGPT to generate a description of the course and put that out on Instagram. It's like, it probably would be like a good to do, but I'm just trying to growth hack as much as possible. And so we have to do something that breaks us kind of through. We can't be doing the social media strategies that other mini golf courses and our competitors are using. We've got to do something different. You got to speak to people at their level, especially when you're going all in, you're the underdog. You got to talk to people at where they are, what they're watching. Hey, I know you're watching TikTok right now, and I'm just some guy, and you've never heard of me before, but me and my friend Reese, we're really putting it all on the line here. So anything, literally anything, our biggest, I think at this point, our biggest video is a video of me saying, hey, a few months ago, Reese and I started this project. We don't have that much money, so I'm not really going to pay for any ads. I promise that we're going to do the best we can. All I need from you is to share this video.
Wow.
That's it. That's basically it, with some clips in there.
Yeah.
Biggest video. Yeah, I think at this point it has, across the platforms, about 1 million impressions. And so the authenticity behind that is, it's the truth. It's like, hey, I don't really have a marketing budget. I need you guys to help me out here.
Yeah.
And so
I love it.
People connect to that authenticity. But as I was talking about earlier, there's a bit of strategy behind that. I understand that Instagram and TikTok prioritize shares. Videos that get shares and get put onto people's stories are shown more in the feed. And this is like, they're saying this, the CEO of Instagram, on his Instagram account, he'll make stories and he'll say, this is what we're doing with the algorithm. He posted one semi-recently, hey, we're prioritizing shares and adds to stories over likes. So when I'm making that video, I'm not gonna be, hey, like this video. I'm saying, put this on your story, please, share this.
Yeah.
And then, just trying to be as mindful as possible about creating that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all out there. All the strategies and the advice are out there.
That's
the hard part is just getting out of your own way.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just the insecurity about posting content. And I think, so much of it comes back to that fear of negative comments and just letting it all get inside and
so true.
eat you up.
I was thinking this just this morning, actually, funny enough. I was thinking about putting out the daily video content on the old page, right? And I'm like, far out. Is there a point to doing this, right? Like, I'd committed to the 100 videos. I feel like the quality is mediocre. I don't know if this is a good use of time.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it on the other hand. I'm like, I think this is just my own fears getting in the way.
Yeah.
Because I think I can justify the 10 minutes. I feel like that's a relatively low investment of time.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's all the other noise, right? It's the negative self-talk. It's the toxic.
It's crazy,
beliefs.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think I love and hate the most about this whole journey, and I guess trying to be an entrepreneur, business owner overall. It really just be like you. Everything else is learnable, or you can hire someone to do it. The big thing, obviously outside external circumstances for some people, but I think for most people, the big thing is just you're in your own way.
That's really well put. Yeah. It's mastery of the self, right?
Yeah.
It's managing your own thoughts, your own time, your own energy.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're all capable of a lot more than probably we think we are.
Content's so brutal as well, because I think it's a different muscle than some of the other business skills. In the same way that maybe sales and negotiation is as well. That's a muscle I don't really have. I have a really hard time being firm, and I have a hard time selling, essentially. I feel, maybe because I was from like a middle-class family or something like that, but I have a hard time taking people's money sometimes, even when I feel like I deserve that money because I gave them a good or a service or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just really struggle with it. And I think, that's kind of like one muscle. And then like marketing and like content is another one, because it almost feels like a game of being okay with the worst outcome possible from posting this video. To make myself post a video, I almost have to be okay with the fact that I could put the video up and then the comments are going to like explode of people calling me ugly or racist or something.
This,
you know what I
that,
mean?
Everything. Yeah.
Because that's what goes through your head. You're like looking at this content and you're like, oh man, this is boring. I look bad. I'm rambling on, you know.
It is sticking your head above the parapet, right?
Yeah.
By putting content out there, it is leading to a vulnerability and leading to those potential
And then you put it out there.
negative comments, yeah.
No one watches it. No one comments. You're like, oh, no one cares.
Yeah.
And that's even worse sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because you spend all this time, oh, this video might blow up, but, people might be like real nasty to me. Oh, I'm just going to post it anyway. Post it, no one watches it. Oh, no one cares. Is this even going to work? Is my business even going to... And now that's a hard mental thing to get over. That's a muscle.
It is a muscle. Yeah, there's all kinds of things going on in the head, right? Like that journey through the NeuroFit program that I've been doing recently is just unraveled a whole bunch of these different things, right? And like you mentioned the fear of selling, or that belief that you've got, and just we've all got those things, right?
Yeah.
And so I think being able to try and unravel those, and where does it come from? Isolating the thought and then being able to work on strategies to overcome it. It's been really interesting.
Do you mind sharing what one of those is?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, randomly enough, like fear of success is a really hard to explain thing, but for some reason, there is a fear there.
Yeah.
And it makes no logical sense, but yet that can absolutely sabotage everything that I'm trying to do, right? And so where does it come from? I'm midway through that journey at the moment.
Interesting.
But trying to dig a bit deeper and like get beyond like conscious memory and just like journaling on it. It's been an interesting process to go through.
Yeah.
I think like we all potentially have, not all of us, but a lot of us potentially have that. And whether it's the tall poppy, whether it's the negative association with success, especially here in New Zealand, wherever it comes from, it is a weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
Like we all on paper want to have all the things, right? But if you're not mentally believing that you're either worthy of it or capable of it or deserve it, then you're going to do things that compromise that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, interesting.
work in progress.
I guess you also find ways to reinforce that as well. If you have a fear of success and then something starts working out for you, you'll sabotage that and you'll be like, oh, well, I knew it.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
self-validating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey to go on.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'd be really curious once you find the answer to that, what it was.
Yeah, I think it's an ongoing process. I don't think there's like one, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I think it's more of a ongoing process and just understanding yourself and your beliefs and like where like the history comes into it, what you can do practically to overcome those kind of beliefs. So I don't think there's any like end game. I think it's a constant process of becoming better and more comfortable and just understanding yourself better.
Yeah, I guess I'm more, I totally agree. I guess I more meant like where you feel like that fear initially stemmed from within yourself. If I took my example of selling, I think I must have talked about this publicly before, but I have this memory that wasn't like I didn't have until I really spent some time thinking it, because that's such like a big block to have if you're an entrepreneur. A fear of selling. You're joking? Selling's half the job.
Yeah.
And I really took some time to think about it. And this memory came up, which it just wasn't there. And then it was suddenly there. And I was like, oh my God. And it was when it's so interesting. It's when I was quite a young child, still in Dunedin, before we moved up to Christchurch. And there was this kid that went to my school, and he was really great at drawing. He was like really skilled for his age. He was such a great artist. And I remember us having a discussion, and I was, one of us was like, oh, we should make like comic books. And I was like, I'm a great like writer. That's where my creativity lies in a lot of ways. So you draw the comic books, I'll do the writing, and we can like sell them to like the other kids. So already you're seeing like a pattern that has now repeated itself multiple times through my life, where I've teamed up with someone who's creative in a different way than me, come together and made a business product. It happened multiple times in my life, up to this project where I'm teaming up with Reese, who's creative in a different way. Now we've combined to make a business. And so we're telling people about this idea, and this one girl was really into Garfield, and she said, I don't want a comic, but I want a coloring book. I would love a Garfield coloring book. So do you want to draw me a Garfield coloring book tonight and come back to school with it tomorrow? And I'll pay you for it. And we're like, yeah. I was especially like, yeah, because I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
He was the drawing one. And she's like, I'll pay for it now. It's like pre-order, essentially. I don't know if we used the term pre-order, but the understanding was, she gave us the money now, and we're going to give her the comic the next day. I think she gave us like $10, $20, something like that. It's like sick. We're like rich. We're primary school rich. And then at the end of the day, I remember the teacher pulling me aside after the class, after everyone had left. And she's like, hey, I heard about what happened. This girl told, me that you said that you were going to give her a Garfield coloring book or whatever for some money, but you like took the money that she was going to use for lunch or something like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, we're doing a coloring book for her. And the teacher was like, you can't do that. Give me back the money. That's her money. And so I, gave back the money. I went home defeated, and I didn't talk to my parents about it. And I think that's where it started for me. And then ever since, I've reinforced that kind of belief in myself. If I had a magic pill and I could remove that memory, I don't think the issue would go away, because as you said, it's a process. We have something happen, and then we reinforce that, and then you almost have to spend the rest of your life untangling that in all these different ways. But that was such a distinct memory for me. And the moment it came up, I was like, oh, like, oh, that's where it was.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing being able to pinpoint it back to that moment.
I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked.
I guess another way to overcome that could be reps, right? So reps of positive reinforcing. So, selling something, delivering it, happy customer.
I'm proud to announce my new line of Garfield colouring books.
It's coming back. Primary school money. It's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think it is reps.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, fear of selling it could be a number of things, right? It could be fear of rejection. It could be the imposter syndrome thing. It could be, the over analysis of it. There's so many things that could lead to that.
Yeah.
And I relate. Like, I don't see myself as someone that's like naturally good at like sales or, hunting out new business. Like, that's something that I really struggle with, actually.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, some people seem to just absolutely love it. Like, they're wired that way. But
yeah, couldn't be me.
No, it's interesting, right? Definitely one of those fascinating topics. I find a lot of things fascinating, whether it's content or sales, business in general. It's just an interest of mine.
Yeah, something about it. You end up becoming closer to a psychology student than I think a finance one. I mean, you think about business. I think everyone sees the idea of charts going up and down and money moving through a system and bank ledgers and stuff like that. But then you start a business and you're like, oh, that this is more about psychology, my own psychology and other people's psychology.
Yeah, way more about people. And I think, having recently reread the How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's just reinforced that it's always been this way.
Yeah.
Like 100 years ago, it was the same thing, right?
Yeah.
There was no AI back then. There's no computers. There's no nothing, right?
Yeah.
But yet, it's all about people back then.
Yeah.
There's a few changes, of course, but, more or less it's people working with people.
I love old books. They're so reassuring. I don't know if I know you're a hectic reader. You make it through so many books. But yeah, that's something so special about old books. Noticing the same patterns. Even when it comes to like the news cycle, like people being upset about the president or whatever. Like, oh, this was happening 100 years ago. This was happening 80 years ago. Nothing's changed that much.
No.
I feel like it takes some of the anxiety off your chest.
Yeah. Well, I think especially when you hear the sentiment that, like we're in this chaotic time and like there's instability everywhere, and it's kind of always been like this, It's just that there's probably more magnification now, and there's probably more exposure and content and availability of information. Yeah,
I guess we're just seeing the consequence of the internet and phones and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll have to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, I had some good sauna chats recently with a friend of mine about that, right? About tech and phones and smartphones. Do we go back to the brick phone? Do we go back to the device that doesn't actually have any internet access?
Do you have, as a father, do you have any hot takes on no phones in school?
No. No, I don't. No hot takes. No, I don't know where I sit with it. I think kids or adults, I think we're struggling to master the devices, and I feel like there could be a potential unlock coming soon with this awareness. Like the bit that came up yesterday was like, if you were to take the world's population that has a smartphone and you look at the screen time averages, that is a big number. Yeah. Like a shockingly big number that's getting wasted on a daily basis. Yeah. I think my prediction would be in the next coming years, I think there'll be a realization around that.
Interesting.
And I think that we're going to realize that we're so distracted, like there's so much time being just deleted every day. And I think we're going to come around to doing something about it.
That's going to be interesting for us as well as business owners, because, as we were talking about earlier, TikTok, Instagram, it's kind of my daily bread right now. It's how we're promoting the course. So the way marketing and stuff is going to change if people start actually taking a step back on technology. Yeah. Or even if they don't, and, AI tools. Because, if I had a AI assistant that could just do everything for me and I didn't have to look at my screen, I probably wouldn't look at my screen that much, to be honest. But then where does that leave advertising? internet advertising.
I mean, I guess it then shifts toward attention. Like, where's the attention going, right? If it's not on the screen, where is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't even know. Is it outdoor again? I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd see ads popping up in other locations that you haven't already. I don't know.
Billboards are so back, baby.
Maybe they are. Maybe the heyday of billboards is coming back. I don't know. It's so interesting though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got to wrap it up. Could talk forever, but we've got to wrap it up.
It's been good. Thank you.
What do you think of the Interbloom?
Yeah, it was really good.
Quite liked it? Yeah, I quite liked it too.
And especially after our conversation about how much we love our sponsors and we want to do good by them.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, hit the podcast up.
I feel like there's definitely space for a drink sponsor.
100%.
I feel like that would make sense.
You got a table right here.
I've got a table right here. Yeah, absolutely. We'll link everything below for your venture.
Thank you.
Fillin Holes.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. This is cool. I can't wait to come and check it out. Being a father, like, there's always an interest in doing stuff that's not on a screen.
Yeah.
And doing stuff, and to see the city have one more layer of something to do and like have one of those gaps filled, that's awesome. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're a good man. Thank you, Lucas.
I appreciate it. I hope to live up to your expectations,
Thank you for your time. Cheers.
Cool.
Done.
Easy.
Man, that was good. You
like that? Okay?
Yeah, no, that was perfect.
Didn't speak too fast.
No,
it was too mumbly.